Genesis chapter 16. Abram is getting impatient that he still hasn't bore a son. Things go wrong with his wife and his wife's servant. Verses 1 and 2. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her. And Abram heeded the voice of Sarai. It's been years. Abram and Sarai have been trying to have a kid, and it's just not working. Sarai is saying, I have this maid. You can use her to make a child for us, but the child will still be ours, not Hagar's. And Abram listens. This is a sin on both of their parts, Sarai and Abram. They're not having faith, and they're not trusting in God's plan, God's covenant, his promise. Verses 4 and 5. So he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between you and me. I was a little confused by this, but I was looking on this website called Enduring Word. If you look up Genesis chapter 16 explained, it should be the first thing that pops up. Since Hagar is basically like a slave, she's treated as below everyone else. Her having a child brings her from down here to up here. So now she thinks she's better than Sarai because Sarai couldn't even have children. So now Sarai is mad that they've swapped. So Sarai tries to curse Hagar, even though Sarai did it to herself, 1, and 2, already learned that you shouldn't strike revenge. Verse 6. So Abram said to Sarai, Indeed your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please. And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Now Abram is saying, sure, go strike revenge. Both Abram and Sarai did this to themselves, but now they are mad that their actions have consequences, and Sarai is having regrets. Hagar, still being a slave technically, she fled. Verses 7 through 11. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand. Then the angel of the Lord said to her, I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael. The only thing Hagar did wrong was boast in Sarai's face after she could have a child and Sarai couldn't. But other than that, Hagar did only what Sarai and Abram told her to do. She's a good person and God is rewarding her. She won't be a slave anymore. She will have countless descendants, and the son she will bear will be named Ishmael. Verse 13. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees. For she said, Have I also here seen him who sees me? She's just in shock. She's in awe. She's praising the Lord for giving her the gift of bearing a child and not being a slave anymore. Verse 15. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. There's a lot of sinning in this chapter, yes, but the main message is to have faith in God's plan and don't doubt it. Don't second guess yourself. Your actions have consequences. If you listen to God's plan, you won't have any problems. But if you try to do your own plan, you're not as smart and powerful as God. You're gonna mess up. Thank you for watching.